All right. Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to another beautiful week in the NFT and Web3 space. It is a Monday. We appreciate you taking time out of that beautiful Monday to be sitting here with myself and Gifted. We are bringing you the NFT and Web3 news every freaking week, every day, 1 p.m. Eastern. We are here talking the latest blue chips, talking the latest rugs, asking Starbucks baristas whether there's NFTs in the back. It's what we do. It's how we live. This is DGen culture. What's up, Gif?
That was actually pretty good when you did that. I think like next time you should keep it going, and each time be like, can I get extra NFTs on that? Can I get that latte with some extra NFTs and just like see how they handle that request?
I mean, you go to Starbucks, I think, more than I do. So there's a potential here where we could kind of combo. You're on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast, and we can see whether barista adoption of NFTs really just takes it to the next level. That's when we know we're in a bull market, right?
This is the kind of experimentation that I'm here for. Absolutely. And yes, I do go to Starbucks, but I'm actually more of a Dunkin' guy these days. But you know what? Dunkin' doesn't have an Odyssey. They don't have a whole NFT rewards program. So
Wow.
I feel like I need to be going to Starbucks more and asking them about their expertise to onboard me into Web3. Since, you know, theoretically in my head, in our collective heads, at least, Starbucks Corporation should be educating all of their staff, all
That's
of their
what I mean.
baristas.
I walked. I literally drove through. So I didn't walk. I drove through and was after getting my stuff. I said, "Do you guys have any NFTs? Do you have any NFTs here?" And they were like, "Oh, wait, what are you talking about?" They got
Okay.
awkward real fast, and I pulled out.
Homo.
I just pulled off. I basically was like, "Nope, I'm not having this conversation to start my Monday." But anyways, guys, thank you so much for starting your Monday with us here on NFT Live. We just finished up a GM Web3, an awesome GM Web3 until it got completely rugged by he who shall not be named, which is the owner of T-Mobile, whoever that is these days.
Yeah, that's who it was.
That's who I'm blaming it on. This is what we've got for the day. Again, Christy C is saying waiting. I'm here, GM, waiting for NAKAMIGOS to hit 1 ETH, and that is the question of the day. Why is NAKAMIGOS pumping? We saw people get involved now, saying, "Hey, if you guys throw it over 1 ETH, I'm going to get into a series, and I'll make a series here for NAKAMIGOS." We're also going to talk Bitcoin NFT growth, specifically Magic Eden, DeGods and Utes on the recap. Daniel Legre, new CEO here for Yuga Labs. I'm not starting the quick hits just too early in the episode, but we do have the CEO of Activision, or the Blizzard, former COO of Activision Blizzard, taking over as CEO of Yuga Labs, which that was a lot of C's. So, but we appreciate Daniel. Welcome to the family.
Not the former COO of Activision or the former COO of Activision of Blizzard. No, he's in fact the former COO of Activision Blizzard.
It's kind of complicated in the gaming space. We see why we haven't hit Mattis adoption. Don't eat a banana on the show. Are you crazy? Of all the things Gift-Ed's done.
I'm a fucking savage. What do you want from me? I've been already live for a couple hours. I got to get it in somewhere.
That's fair. Okay. Again, I'm going to re-show this tweet really quick. This is what we've got on schedule. If you guys could give that a like or a retweet, that'd be, really nice. If you want to go onto Twitter right now, we are live on Twitter. We're live on Twitch, and we do syndicate these afterwards to our audio podcast, as Gifted usually tells me to do, which I appreciate him for. I'm going to show off our handy-dandy Spotify landing page in here in just a second. Gift, did you take anything away from the first GM Web3 of the week?
I took a lot away. I mean, we talked about a lot of good stuff, had some excellent conversations like we tend to do over there on the Greatest Heckin' Morning Show on all Twitter Spaces. What are the big takeaways? I mean, we really got into it on NAKAMIGOS. I feel like I really put together like what is my current thesis on like where NAKAMIGOS is going over the next week. So we can talk. I'm excited to talk more about that. It was interesting to look more into DeGods and Utes and, what they're doing. I think this wasn't necessarily like a takeaway from this morning as much as one of my favorite things from over the last couple of days that I've been watching is Cargo Kim Asendorf took off.
Ooh.
And like, yeah, that got up to like 1.3 ETH over the weekend and is sitting above 1 ETH now, or at least it was this morning. So to anybody who's been following along on our saga of following this artist, Kim Asendorf, this generative artist, and got in on their art blocks drop last week, congratulations. I was literally degenning live here when it was like minting and going to secondary, picked up 2 of them while we were on the show. And so far, that was my best move lately. That was a good move.
See, live mints do go well on NFT Live, folks. We see it here.
Not
it is
usually.
an example.
Not usually. Also,
Congrats
this is
on
a
that.
great time to say this is not financial advice, and any information was found publicly on the internet. Opinions shared on this episode are solely of the Web3 team. All information is public domain, so please do your own research. DYOR.
Please
We're not financial
DYOR.
advisors. Yeah, we're not financial advisors.
Do your own research as well, dude. We are hitting on all cylinders right now. Do your own research as well on Spotify. Here's our Spotify dashboard. I will link this as well in chat if you want to catch up with all of the content, either the GM Web3 Morning Show or this NFT Live, and any potential podcasts that do come out in the future. This is where you are going to find them. Really excited for the future here.
That's the spot, man. Like our executive producer, Jacob Gooden, is just an absolute master at getting all of this live content syndicated out there within hours. Like literally within like an hour or two, usually all of our live audio from both this show, NFT Live, and our Twitter show, GMWeb3, it's up there on Spotify. It's actually the best place to get all of our live audio content. And it's there within an hour or two. He's just freaking amazing at it. So that is the spot. And actually, on your question about takeaways, key takeaways from this morning's GM Web3, we did start to get into the Twitter algorithm a little bit, which is a fascinating new topic. And I didn't know, for instance, that misspellings hurt you in the algorithm. So for instance, you know, anytime we've been using friend, like I literally in the tweet yesterday for GM Web3 said something like invite your friends and misspelled friend, because that's Web3 lingo. Mm-hmm. Apparently, all of that is bad for the Twitter algo. So no more friends. Friends are done.
That is a topic. That is a topic that we're going to hit today. It wasn't originally on the dashboard, but I think Quantum Variant brought it in the morning show. And basically having all of the Twitter algo be open source for everybody to see, for those people to see, and then break it down for the rest of us is also dope. So we can definitely get into that. Again, it wasn't typically going to be a topic for the day, but I mean, it's important. Most of us live on Twitter in this space, so definitely want to do that. I tried to find the Kim Asendorf on NFTGo. Is it not on NFTGo, or do I have to search by OpenSea?
It may or may not be. The name of the collection is Cargo. If you search Cargo, it'll come up on OpenSea. I don't know if it'll come up on NFTGo though or not. Okay. I think NFTGo is hard with art blocks because I think it just puts it all into like one collection on art blocks. But here I will share it with you right here in the chat. Yeah, if we want to pull that up real quick, because this is actually a really great follow up. this is a fun follow up. This is a positive.
There's not a lot of these, so get it while it's good.
Yeah.
Whoa, 1 ETH floor.
So yeah, go look at that activity though.
Hold up, what's the original mint price here?
I think it was like it was a Dutch auction, and I think it minted out around like 0.2 or 0.25 ish. I got in around 0.3. I think I got one for like 0.3 and one for 0.35.
Okay, hold on here. All right. We had this conversation last week about the Kim Asendorf. Gifted was sitting at like 0.5 or 0.6, and we were asking the question in chat whether he was going to sell. At that time, the community said you should sell. Have you sold one to get back? Like you bought two?
No, sir.
I can't do this.
I'm hodling. Dude. Everybody y'all told me to sell at 0.5, and I would have literally I would have gotten my money back and had one to ride, but like I would have missed out on these gains. I'm all about these gains, Q.
But now you're sitting at a 3x. So now you've made your money back and more. Sell one and then let it ride, baby.
I just feel like this art is too good. The artist is too good. I just feel like it's gonna go up from here, you know?
God. Okay. Well, there's no financial advice on this show, so it's fine. Do what you will. Hey, I'm gonna go solidly into the quick hits. Okay. This is the way the show works. If you got there's no listen. I held round trip on multiple projects, so it's just me projecting my pain onto you.
Well, you're trying to help me, and I appreciate that. But you know what? Telling me to sell it at 0.5, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, Squash Man, unrealized gains! Exclamation!
We're all experiencing
asterisk.
That. Okay, but hey, before I get into quick hits, so if you guys are here for the first time, usually the structure of the show is we do our little bullshit here in the beginning where we kind of talk about how many unrealized gains we have, and then we get into quick hits, and then we get to our main topic, and then any other topics that flow off from that. So we also have the NFTGo Bag Check, which we get into right after quick hits. So that's the flow of today's show. What's up?
Let me say one last thing on this, and in response to like what we've been talking about, GM Web3, Kim Asendorf. I clearly right now am rejecting the idea that all of these are just fungible fucking tokens.
Is this what you're doing? It's too much emotion in here, Gif. It's too much. No, you can't tie money and emotion together.
This is actual appreciation of art and artistry and craft and understanding and believing that does matter on a project. So I am, on this project at least, absolutely rejecting the notion that these are all just fungible tokens and that the art does not matter and that it's just a quick flip. Will I end up flipping one to try and get out sometime soon? Maybe. But the way that I'm hodling and the fact that I didn't just flip it at half an ETH and the way that I'm playing this, you can tell I am not on board with thinking that Kim Asendorf's art blocks are just fungible shit coins. Sorry. I don't buy it here.
So Gifted followed the first rule of Degenery, which is you buy two. You always have to buy two, but he's not following up on the second rule, which is you got to get your money back and ride, which is fine. If you want to fully lay down, I got you, man. I got you. Hey, this is quick hits. So I'm starting with one of the most underrated things that is not talked about on a daily basis in this space. ETH is deflationary. Do you know this? Does anybody know this? When people ask about Shiba Inu in your family table, do you not like tell them that ETH is deflationary? So this is from Evan Ness. Since the merge a bit 6 months ago, I love how he said a bit over 6 months ago. Over 75,000 ETH has reduced from total supply. 180,000 Bitcoin in that time have been added to total supply. This is a 75K deflation in total supply of ETH. And this is one of the things, and I will continue to sit up here on my pulpit and say if I had just gotten into the space in 2017 and traded just ETH, I would have been better off today than had I tried to chase all the random stuff and all of the altcoins and all the shit coins and all the shit coins with pictures. If I had just held ETH, and even more so now that ETH is deflationary. So this is not financial advice, but this is going to be one of those crystal clear in 2028 calls that is just going to be, it's boring. ETH is the same thing today as it was yesterday and it was before that, even though we're getting a bunch of upgrades. It's so fucking boring that it is the best play that you could possibly make, even possibly over Bitcoin at this point. And again, none of what I said was financial advice. I said it prior to saying that because it was so much focused around the finance there. But ETH is deflationary. Hope you know it. Tell all the folks. Just spread the good word of Vitalik's dong and ETH being deflationary.
I will never stop talking about Vitalik's dong.
I know.
I mean, have you seen it? There's a lot to talk about.
It looks weirdly like interesting, like a water bottle almost. It has like a water bottle shape.
Those are just the veins. They're just popping out.
God, we are on one on this Monday. Hey, I'm gonna put us back on the rails here. Let's look at the chat real quick. Left Action House got in early saying LFG. Christian is waiting again for NAKAMIGOS to hit 1 ETH. Nox Darkness, OVOT. Squashman, OVOT. Arafim says thanks for the shout out earlier, GIF. G of M, our vibe, our tribe. Let's see.
G of M to you. Real quick though, just on the ETH thing. Look, ultrasound money. That's the sort of like meme or like the way that people are talking about it. And it's just to understand like what is really going on with Ethereum. It's something to look into and try and understand like what is ultrasound money? Why do people consider Ethereum ultrasound money? A lot of it has to do with the deflationary aspect of it. And you can now go track it, and like what Q is showing, right? It's like you can see how much is already burned. But the crazy thing that I don't fully understand, but I think is like true, is that the more that the network heats up, like the more activity on the network, the more deflationary it becomes.
Yep, that's true.
Like, yeah, think about what that means. Like, what does that mean? Like, again, to your point, Q, you're trying to like, people suck so bad about thinking out like a couple years and like actually visualizing and putting themselves into like that, like what actually happens? What does this look like? What's going on here? And where does this lead us to? Like, we suck so bad just as humans. It's not our strength, right? To think further than a day or two or a week ahead. We're really bad at it. Yeah, we get distracted easily. But if you actually think about the fact that like, yes, more network adoption is actively happening. You just look at the chart, look at the ETH chart over time. More network adoption is happening. That is a macro trend that is holding true. And as that happens, it becomes more deflationary. What does that mean for the price action? It means that, to your point, it may even be the bigger brain play than fucking Bitcoin. And you know, you're not the only one that says, like, there's a lot of really smart people that think ETH. Andy James is one of those, by the way. Andy James, very smart guy. I believe actually thinks ETH is a better bet than Bitcoin right now. But there's some smart people out there that think ETH might even be a better move than Bitcoin.
Yeah. And I hate to get the glossy eyes when I try to explain ETH. Like people that are like, I don't really understand. I don't really have time. And I'm just like, hey, man, you don't really need to spend a lot of time here. But like people think they need to be on top of the markets and all this stuff. It's like, you don't. I'm telling you, I spend all my days on Ethereum and there's so much activity and there's all of these macro plays that are going to play out. And again, none of which can actually be taken as financial advice or should. So, because we're not anything, like financial advisors. We're not Jim Cramer. So Left Action House is saying ETH is the better bet, 100%. Quantum Variant's asking, when is ETH going to flip BTC? There, Knox is also saying, I held my ETH from 2015. COVID wiped out the last of my profits. I'm sorry, RIP on that one. Mike Erlandson is in the house saying ETH unlock April 12th. So that is something to be watching, at least on the micro scale. So let's jump back into quick hits really quick. We do have the Twitter algorithm that I want to hit, but again, we want to allude to the CEO now of Yuga Labs, of the biggest essentially project and umbrella entity in the space and brand in the space. They get their new CEO starting today. Daniel is tweeting here saying, today is my last day as president and COO of Activision Blizzard. Thank you to the incredible teams who create truly epic games. Tomorrow, I officially start at CEO of Yuga Labs. Couldn't be more excited for this next chapter. Lucky Trader had also a tweet thread, which we can dive into here in a second. My only take on this is I need to kind of look at the last 6 or 7 years with Activision Blizzard. I know that there's been a lot, to use our term, FUD on Activision Blizzard. It's across the space. We're super toxic individuals as gamers, but there's been some missteps by Activision and Blizzard, including Diablo mobile release. So that Diablo 3 release, I believe, was terrible and received negatively. There's been some things that Activision Blizzard has done that people are like, that's not the right move, and it hasn't been received well. But I think overall, getting someone of this caliber to lead Yuga into that gaming next step is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's about having the experience working with a tech, gaming, digital asset, world-building IP company at global scale, like understanding how that works and how you actually build and manage a business like this. That's what's important here.
Yes.
And like so for the longest time, like there's other big publishers like Square Enix and Bethesda and these, but the three biggest gaming publishers in the world for a long time have been Activision Blizzard, Electronic Arts, and Ubisoft. Activision Blizzard is the biggest, number one, biggest gaming publisher in the world. So this guy has been at the highest level, COO, C-suite, running, helping to run, operationalizing, COO, of the biggest gaming publisher in the world. So just having that kind of experience, those connections, understanding how to build out and operationalize that kind of company, you can't just create that kind of experience. You know what I mean? So that to me is the bigger point. It's like, yeah, of course, Activision Blizzard isn't perfect, and they, like, to your point, like, the gaming community is toxic. So yeah, I'm sure there's some shit that, like, you could pull up and be like, oh, well, the company didn't do good here. Yeah, that's not really the point to me. The point is, like, they're pulling top tier talent from the biggest gaming publisher in the world.
Yeah, I have a quick lightning question that I want to get both the chat and you, Gifted, here, and it was brought up by Squashman. So do not read the chat gift because I want this to be organic. But you can see here that the Blizzard, the projects that and the games that Allegre was essentially overseeing was Call of Duty, which has done pretty well since 2020. I mean, again, like that was like don't fuck it up material. Like Call of Duty's that big, just don't fuck it up. Candy Crush, I'm not sure on. Diablo has taken some steps to move past that Diablo 3 release. Overwatch, I think, is moving along, and WoW is probably, I think the latest release of WoW has been received pretty well, but it's I might even be talking out of my ass there. I have gamers that play mostly classic, gamer friends that play mostly classic over the releases of this, like, this more cookie cutter kind of like, hey, you can get to max level completely, like, immediately, which is the route that WoW has gone down for a long time. Okay, question. In 1 year, would love to hear Allegre's take on the more toxic community, gamers or NFT/Web3ers. Who is the more toxic community, gamers or NFTers?
I think it's gaming. I don't think the NFT community is much better, frankly. Just if you look at least like a lot of the loud people on Twitter and shit and in Discords, you'd probably see a lot of the same shit. You'd probably be like, they're both toxic as fuck. But I think the gaming community has like a history, like a pretty long history of being very, very vocal, and just as much as there's like a sort of whole market for trolls and people engagement farming around being like the first people to come out and FUD or be negative about something that's happening, the gaming industry has a whole, ton of those people, like on YouTube and everywhere, where it's like anything that's happening, they're going to put together the 20-minute fucking deep dive on the conspiracy of like how badly they fucked up, and that's like literally they've got millions of followers on YouTube because it's all just like anger. It's just angry and rageful people that never leave their parents' basement and like build an entire community that way. And, again, I'm a gamer, but also, like, let's just be honest. There's a lot of toxic motherfuckers out there that, are also gamers.
Yeah, Prodigy's shedding some light here on WoW. He's saying the guys I know who have been playing Dragonflight loved it, which is the latest expansion release there. He's also saying gamers, without a doubt. NFT community would alt F4 if they were in half of my chats. Sorry, not sorry. Quantum Variant is also saying gamers. So we have the poll there in chat on YouTube. You can take the poll. Gamers or NFT? I said NFTers. I don't know how we want to name ourselves. NFTians, NFTites, NFT.
I think it's degens.
Okay. Well, next time I run that same exact poll, I'll know what to do. So degens. And Arafim is saying I disagree, but literally that could be true. So we're saying RL players are hella toxic. So Rocket League, I'm sitting with one right now. I'm sitting with one right now. I know how toxic this guy can be. I've seen him in multiple settings in Rocket. No, I have not. Okay. All right. Twitter algorithm. Let's hit this. And Squash Man, I'm not even going to read that out loud. It doesn't deserve a response. Okay, so Twitter algorithms got open sourced over the weekend. I have a tweet from Akash. Also, I believe NFT God went into it as well. So we can pull up that tweet if you want to send me that GIF. But I mean, this is a huge. Before I pull this up, this is probably the biggest and best thing that Elon Musk has done since entering Twitter. I was one of those simps that when he took over, I was like, man, they're running it into the ground. I really don't like the left, like the leftist features that we're seeing, even though the right is just as bad. We see a lot of left-leaning features with censoring certain words or censoring certain topics and all these things. I was like, oh my God, Elon Musk is going to come in. He's going to fix everything. And it's really been a clusterfuck since the beginning. He's done a couple different things, some of which has hit, some of which hasn't. Open sourcing the Twitter algorithm is by far the coolest thing that he's done, and it's one of the reasons why we were simping so hard when this first announcement about him taking over was coming out. Because again, this is what we want. We want transparency. We want to be not taken care of, but we want to at least feel like we're not fighting against Twitter. Like they have some sort of like nefarious reason why they should be shadow banning you and all these different things. Like this is really, really cool. So I don't want to understate that. But we can jump into the details. GIF, what is your take on open sourcing the Twitter algorithm?
I agree with you. Like I think it's probably going to be a net positive overall, and that it is a big, bold move. Probably one of the better things he's done so far to give that level of transparency and openness. And it's honestly, it's empowering, right? To the normal user. That's what is exciting to me and what I would want to see more of from these platforms. They all say that they're there to empower their community and the users on their platform. So actually do that. You know what I mean? It's like this to me feels like it is trying to actually, or has the potential to actually empower the Twitter community and users to understand more of like what's actually going on. Why are certain things happening? Why am I shadow banned, for instance? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to know what the fuck is shadow ban is. Why am I shadow banned? Or like, I want to know what is the verification actually doing from an engagement perspective. I want to know that. So that's something that we'll be looking into. And if anybody actually has, knows, go ahead and put it in the chat. The other thing that I think is relevant just to throw in here that we didn't touch on is Meta is doing what they do, which is copycatting all the successful features.
Really?
And it's just rolled out a $15 verification. So $15 a month, you can also be verified in Meta, which is fucking obnoxious. Facebook and Instagram.
That's not even how it works, though. That's not even how the feed.
Yeah, so you can now for $15 a month be verified through Meta as well for their platforms, which is fucking annoying because I don't want to be subscribing to all of my different social media platforms. That was never the intention. But what's interesting about it from that perspective is that to me it has put in
what?
It put a nail in the coffin on the conversation around social media the new public square? Is this a right for all humans to just like be able to participate? No, these are private companies. That's what they are. They are not the public square. It's not a right. It's not a public utility. Like that's what this is. It's pay to play. You want to be in it. You want to get the most out of it. Like give us money. And that is what it is. So there's been this ongoing conversation around like, are these a public utility? Is this the public square? Is it basically a human right to be on these platforms? And I mean, I already knew the answer was no, because again, they're platforms that are for profit that have to like be responsible and accountable to the shit that happens on their platforms and also run a business. So like I already knew that, but I feel like this really put a nail in that coffin, right? It's like, no, you literally have to pay if you want to play.
Okay. So a few things while you were talking about that, I do agree across the board. Like these are private platforms for the most part and probably should be treated as such. Quantum Variant saying transparency is trust. Asmodai saying these big platforms need more transparency and proper explanations for bans, not brick wall support by bots. Mike Erlinson is saying, I see a MetaCheck's NFT project on the horizons. So appreciate those comments. Gif, while you were talking as well, I'm like searching Twitter, right? And I've been doing that all morning as we put together these looks. Look at up here in the top left. So top left, this is the Twitter logo, yes. Okay, so this has not been refreshed. So this was literally just 5 seconds ago. Look at this. Someone check the Doge price. There's a Doge at the top left of Twitter right now. Somebody check out the Doge price. What is going on? Unless I'm being fucking hacked. What? Unless I'm being DDoSed.
Nah, I see it now. I had to refresh a couple times, but...
Okay, so while that's happening, while we're being dogged here, doged, as they say, let's jump into a little bit of the Twitter algorithm release, okay? So this is from Akash. Again, Gif, if you have the NFT God one, we can pull that one up as well if he's got any interesting takes. This is a full thread, right? So here's what you need to know. Likes, then retweets, then replies. Each like gets a 30x boost, each retweet a 20x boost, and each reply a 1x boost. One of the reasons why this in particular jumps off the page is that there were a lot of people that were kind of gaming this before it went obviously full transparent and full and open source. People were saying that replies were this huge benefactor, that there was just like, this is giving you so much more. Is Doge pumping? Hold on. They're saying Doge is pumping. This would be hilarious. Doge is 100% pumping. Somebody get on this. Not financial advice. Doge is up. Look at that. Look at that. That's awesome. That is so we caught this live, ladies and gentlemen. The Doge, what, hey, could this mean what we've been predicting, Gif? Does this Doge logo in the top left mean we're getting Doge payments on crypto or on Twitter?
All I know is I just converted some ETH into Doge, and we're gonna see.
The live GIF is like full on live degenning every week on the show. Listen, could this mean Doge payments? I don't know, but that is an interesting development here that we saw happen live. Let's jump back in. GIF. The other thing I was saying was that people were experimenting, saying replies were going to be huge, right? And guys, this is where GIFTED's engagement falls off a cliff because he's on his phone trying to 100x a Doge buy. So just be prepared for that. But
I just converted the small amount, like also my Ghost into Doge. So whatever I just had I got a small amount in my Coinbase across a couple assets. I just dumped it into Doge, and we're gonna see what happens, fam. But you know what? Like Doge has been beaten down. We've been waiting for something to come out of Twitter and Elon, and looks like maybe they've been working on something. Like all we can do is speculate, right? Maybe this is just him putting his thumb on the scale and like having fun. But like, to me, why would you change the Twitter logo on the whole fucking platform to Doge if there wasn't going to be some kind of integration?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
well, I mean, Elon has been very, very troll before. So you can't say with certainty like, oh, this means there's some integration. I could see Elon just being like, hey, throw the Doge logo up there for 10 minutes because I like to fuck with regulators. But I look, this is interesting because they just put out the open source over the weekend and now they have another development. So Twitter is slowly getting into gear. Maybe it just took a couple months, man. Maybe it took a few months to have Elon in the chair. Sarah Script is saying GIF buys the top again. Love you, friend. Asmund, I was saying some good takes on Twitter rules from ChatGPT analytics. Okay, here we're gonna finish this out, right? Images and videos help. Both images and videos get a 2x boost. Links hurt. So this is maybe something we should be monitoring here. Links hurt unless you have enough engagement. Generally, external links get you marked as spam unless you have enough engagement. I don't know what enough means here. He's mentioned enough twice. I don't know what enough means. Mutes and unfollows hurts. All of the following hurt your engagement: mutes, blocks, unfollows, spam reports, abuse reports. Blue extends your reach, so we're getting something with that handy dandy blue check. Paying the monthly fee gets you a healthy boost. Again, he's saying enough and then a healthy. I'd like something a little bit more concrete than that. Misinformation is highly downranked. You are that's a rabbit hole conversation. Misinformation. What's misinformation? You are clustered into a group. The algorithm puts you into a grouping of similar profiles. It uses that extend tweet reach beyond your followers to find similar people. Posting outside your cluster hurts. If you do out of network content, it's not going to do well. That's why hammering home points about your niche works, which is similar to how YouTube works. Honestly, the YouTube algorithm works in a very similar way. Making up words or misspelling. Here it is. This is it. Making up words or misspellings hurts. Words that are identified as unknown language are given a huge penalty. Anything under 1 is bad. So make sure you understand. We all need to get a degree here in communications because you're going to need to know how to spell the words. Do not misspell your words. Followers, engagement, and user data are the 3 data points. If you take away anything, remember this. This model takes in 3 inputs: like, retweet, and then replies, mutes, unfollows, and spam reports, and who follows you, the follower graph. So, I mean, that was a lot. It was a fire hose of information. And Doge is pumping. So we're having ourselves a nice little Twitter Monday.
Man, I really hope it pumps like crazy. Like actually like crazy. Yeah, because I probably did just buy the top again, but like whatever. We're playing, we're having fun.
I mean, it's up from where you bought it. Where did you buy it? 0.83? We were talking 0.83. It's at 0.89 right now. You can get out.
I don't know. Well, the thing is, when things are moving fast, because I'm not using Coinbase Pro to do this right now. The slippage is probably awful. I'm probably like losing on every trade.
It should tell you your strike price though, like average strike price. So, are you using Uniswap?
No, I'm just using Coinbase right now.
Coinbase? Oh, it definitely gives you a strike price. Okay, well, I mean, we'll monitor this. Again, GIF, if you're feeling a little shaky, we're getting live emotions here from Gifted. He was euphoric 5 seconds ago, and now is like,
No, I'm the thing is, I'm gonna hold it for a little bit and see what it does because, dude, look how low it is from the last like highs, dude.
I'm gonna pull up the proper chart here,
dude. It got up to over 70 cents. People were trying to say it's gonna go to $1. It's still pretty low compared to its last highs. So, it has potential to move.
That's the hour chart. Let's go to
I had a giant bag of Doge a while ago that I fucking offloaded because I needed liquidity for other things.
Okay. Quantum Variant saying, can we get Elon to put ape there? That would be nice. Prodigy saying Q, not sure if you've seen, but the DM I send you on disc. I will get to that. We had an interesting play to earn or Web3 gaming development. I can definitely pull that up as we go. So here's where we're sitting. I mean, your strike price, we were talking about it at like 0.81, I think, 0.83. So I don't know what your strike price was, but you're sitting pretty. We'll continue to monitor.
It's probably around 0.85. It's probably in that zone.
Oh, we just crossed 9 cents. Gifted's about to be a millionaire on the show.
Yeah, right. I didn't put that much into it. I don't leave that much sitting in my Coinbase account, period, at this point.
Yeah. If you caught that, that is such a, I think Buffalo hit me with this a long time ago. He's like, Doge, and I was like, what are you talking about, man? Do not hit it. But timing and the Elon announcement or finding the Doge on the Twitter before everybody else, on the Twitter logo before everybody else, you can make some money.
Well, see, that's my gamble here, fam. I feel like Q, you just brought this in here probably right at the front end of people seeing this. And it doesn't seem to me it seems to me like what they're doing here is a stunt. Like they didn't roll out a big PR campaign. This hasn't been announced a bunch of other places. I don't think. I think we literally just caught this early. That's my thesis, at least, right? Is that like we're catching this early enough that it'll take a little bit for the whole news cycle to play out. So, Good, good catch. Hopefully, we'll see. And
I'll
if
take
and if
my
it doesn't
tip.
do well,
I gotta pay you out.
I'm coming for you. I'm putting it on right. I'm laying my dead baby on your doorstep, Q.
Damn, this shit
My
just
dead
got real on
doggos.
NFT Live. All
Dead
right.
doggos are. Nothing's financial advice here, fam. We're just having fun.
We're just
with
looking at
money,
charts.
with money that we can lose.
Okay. All right. The rest of the quick news here before we get to the NFTGo Bag Check. This is, I don't even know if I want to call it quick news. I mean, Blur has been the topic of conversation for a long freaking time for us here on NFT Live and the GM Web3 Morning Show. I guess the quick news here that I could show you guys is Machi actually tweeted about this. I can't not see the Doge anymore. But extending double points by a month punishes and dilutes early adopters and liquidity providers, cheapens Blur points, and changes the term. Changing the terms is fraudulent. So Machi has been not the biggest winner from all this. We know that he's down big, but he's been the biggest player. So this is one of the biggest players on Blur, basically calling them out. I'm always, again, I had my conspiracy theory hat on with NAKAMIGOS this morning saying, hey, we don't know what's actually happening with Blur and all that, or with Beeple. But I'm always kind of hesitant here with Machi as well, because who knows his relationship with the Blur team behind the scenes. This could be a total like soap opera that they're trying to pay out. Psyop is probably the better. Yep. Word.
Yeah, it could be. So on one hand, this could show that he's not really in bed with them and he's actually fucking pissed because it's not going that well for him. And then like, I agree with his point. Like, to me, it is fraudulent. It's basically like a rug. Like if you're promising shit and everybody's literally like making financial decisions and like betting on the words that you told them, that you said, they bought into this idea that you sold them. You said, hey, we're doing an airdrop, or these are the mechanics, this is how it works. And you are operating on that. You're taking big bets. In his case, maybe losing a shit ton of fucking ETH, trying to farm this shit because of the game that they set up for you to play. And then you decide months into it, actually, we changed our minds. Here's how we're going to do it now. It's like, isn't that kind of rugging people? Like, that's like you pulled the rug out. You're saying like, actually, it's over here now. Right? So like, I agree with what he's saying. I think that this is basically like fraudulent behavior. It's shitty, at least. That's part of the issue that I've had. So I don't know though, because you're like, the other side of it is, this could be him trying to distance himself from everybody, starting to say that there's some collusion between them.
I've got two tweets that I want to add in here, because the conversation we've been having around Blur is essentially that it's highlighting the fact that it is now a trader's market, not a collector's market. So these go along the same lines. I showed you a tweet there as well that DOGE is now down 25% since that partnership with. They came out, they said, hey, we're partnering with Blur, all this stuff, and then obviously traders start to lick their chops a little bit about a new project that has some volume. I had a tweet by NFTGo again, as well as a really, really cool tweet about from Alex about the current state of the market. So Nate Alex had a really good tweet. He's another good follow. But let me touch on NFTGo's one first. He said, NAKAMIGOS has proven one thing. The only utility that matters to 99% of people is price go up. That's it. Have a problem with that? Build something that actually gets people excited. Spoiler: staking, burning, discounts on ugly merch, token gated discords, and vibes are not it. And that's definitely overly harsh. Like, there's some combination of these things that have done well and shown to be an increase in utility. But in general, he's not wrong with what is being highlighted in the NFT space right now. We were primarily going off momentum of price going up, and therefore people were forming their own narratives about how important a lot of these things were, how important getting a token gated Discord was, how important getting access to merch was, how important, a lot of these different things were. Including vibes. Vibes are thrown out all the time as like a utility for owning a $20,000 asset. And NFTGo basically is ripping this to shreds. Gif, I want to get your take here, but I also want to drop this because it's kind of in that same vein, which I think explains the market really well right now. Nate Alex is saying a new project drops and DGens prepare to play another round of chicken. Not everyone gets in because supply is limited. If holders are brave, the price climbs, which leads to social media commentary. When cowards overtake supply, the game ends. And that, I think, is the biggest way to sum up the state of NFTs right now.
Cowards and fools, right? This is the greater fool theory playing out. Which, look, I agree that there's a lot of that in the space. It's the Ponzi-nomics, it's the greater fool theory. You see that with a lot of different projects, but it's not the whole space, and that's where I divest from that sort of thinking. Like the people that take a big broad brush and paint the whole space as scams or greater fool theory, they don't understand the nuance of the art, of the community, of the building, of the tech. They don't understand all those other things, right? And that shit actually does have value, does hold weight, does actually matter. And to NFT God's tweet, the one thing he didn't include in there was dope events, fam. So, there were some events in with the merch and the token gated Discord. You know what? Now you got a real badass project happening. So look, it's all true, but it is all very much one-sided. And I just don't buy the fact that like none of that stuff matters, or that there isn't more to this as well. Right. Mm-hmm. So knowing this is why we literally have created this network and spent so much time in the weeds and trying our best to create the highest quality editorial, education, and entertainment content in the Web3 space, is because there is so much nonsense and so much of that not really good quality stuff and people trying to take advantage that if you don't have good friends, good community, and different ways to try and stay on top of this stuff, then it can feel that way. You can get lost really easily. You can get taken advantage of really easily. And that's literally what we're trying to do is divine our ways through the nonsense to get to the gems, the kernels of truth, and find the realness in it, because there is real shit in all of this stuff. There's real art, there's real artists, real community, real leaders, real builders, real tech, real platforms, and real opportunities. But yeah, you got to slog through a lot of nonsense to find the gems. It is like mining for gold, in the wild west, Q. You know what I'm saying? They used to go out there mining for gold. The 49ers is actually named after the California gold rush. And they take a pan and they just have to slosh through endless amounts of crap, of crud, of dirt to try and find those nuggets of gold. And that's exactly what we're doing here as we keep riding along on our Oregon Trail into Web3, riding this Wild West metaphor as long and far.
I see you running it. Hey, another thing that's like gold right now. One of my worst analogies of all time, by the way. We almost just passed 10 cents on Doge. So it's running. It's running a little bit. We'll see where this is post episode. But Doge is absolutely getting the bid off the logo being changed on Twitter. God, I love the simulation that I live in. Do not adjust my simulation feature here, folks. So it's up 25%.
Holy shit. I could sell right now for $500.
You're welcome. Send me a tip. Take me out for a steak dinner. Just because I found the logo. I refreshed my page faster than other people. This is money.
Magic internet money. The dog coins are
as we stake our ape. Yes, we are in fucking La La Land. That is not clear.
Absurd. This is y'all. Again, look, we say it here a million times. Can we run that flag at the bottom here?
Oh yeah.
Nothing we talk about here is financial advice, fam. We are not financial advisors. We are literally just a bunch of degens talking about shit that we think is interesting. So please, DYOR, this is not financial advice, and information was found publicly on the internet. Opinions shared on this episode are solely of the Web3 team. All information is public domain. If it sounds like we say that a lot, it's because we do, and we're going to keep saying it for your safety and ours. We are just literally commenting and following along of the shit that's happening.
I want to continue to have this chart up here, but it's crazy because we have to say it more now, right? Okay, we just crossed 10 cents. It's at 10.1. So it looks like it's going to run, man. We'll see. But it feels like, again, that's the topic of conversation, is it feels like we're having to say that more because the space is more financialized. Mm-hmm. So in partly it does have to do with Blur. You read off this tweet thread this morning on the GM Web3 Morning Show, and we took some tidbits from whale.swoosh. First of all, great follow. I'll link it here for you guys. But you know, NAKAMIGOS is another great example. We're talking about Doge here, but NAKAMIGOS is another great example of the financialization of in the traders market that we're in right now. There's nothing that is other than, again, like the initial hype, which is based on the price going up. There's nothing that's backing NAKAMIGOS right now that is saying this is the fundamental value in that it should cross 1 ETH. The fact that that now Beeple is getting in, which I can pull up once we get to it. But did you have any takeaways from the Blur thread we went over with Will.swoosh? You know, there were a lot of takeaways, obviously, but you have any?
One from non-fungible to fungible. Yeah, I mean, the rarity point is interesting, right? Because I was talking about how yesterday I went to Rarity Sniper for the first time in what felt like almost a year, and it actually felt weird. Like it already felt like I was participating in a bygone era. You know, like I'm sure like some of y'all remember over the last couple of years, like early in, you know, all this NFT stuff, third-party websites, rarity sites like Rarity Tools and Rarity Sniper were like a pretty important part of the whole process of collecting and buying NFTs. Like you didn't really want to go into a new collection without consulting the rarities. I mean, that's how you found the better deals. And then there was a bunch of different tools that popped up. Like I remember NFT HUD had some really cool tools for a while. RIP NFT HUD, they don't exist anymore. You know what I mean? Like they couldn't keep it going on a token gated business model. But they had like a really cool rarity, I forget what they called it, but it was like a tool that matched rarity with price to find the rarest for the best price combination. And so I loved that. Like that tool was amazing to me. I felt like I was getting the best deals. And now it's just like, you just use OpenSea or Blur, you just use the tools in there. And like rarity is definitely not something that you're focused on when you're making purchases. You just go to the floor. Some people are more focused on aesthetics. You know, you find ones that you think are cool that people are going to like more. And then maybe you check the rarity last, and like, it definitely still matters. I think a lot of this is all very extreme. Like it definitely still matters, but it matters much less now. And it's also like primarily just that like top 1% rarity that really matter. And then most of the others are like, not. I don't buy into the idea though that like the other 99% of all the traits just collapsed into one floor. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like that's kind of how they make it seem. Like they're all just floor now. No, they're not. Like
they just they're outsized. They're completely outsized when it comes to what's being traded, right? Like those exist, but just not in the same volume that you see all the floor stuff being traded at this point.
Yeah, and well, I think a good example of that is the mutant apes, right? Because there's certain traits on mutant apes that are just not as desirable. They're just not as, you know, nice looking as the others. And those kind of make up the floor. Like you go look at the floor and it's majority all certain traits, right? Mm-hmm. And so to say that, you know, aesthetics and traits don't matter, no, especially when you're operating at a certain level and cost. Like when you're operating above a couple ETH, you think traits don't matter. You think people aren't going to spend a little bit more or a lot more to get something that they really like. So I think it's an interesting point, but I don't fully buy that on all collections the 99% underneath the top 1% rarest trades all collapsed and they're all just floor. It's just much smaller of a factor right now in a trader's market versus a collector's market.
Yeah, if you've been tuning into NFT Live, we've touched on this like ad nauseum at this point, so we'll probably move on to the next topic. But NAKAMIGOS is probably going to bring us back because what we're actually seeing is the hyper financialization of NFTs. That is literally what's happening. Not that there wasn't a financial aspect before, but it just is taking an outsized kind of place in the narrative of what we're doing right now. Just wrapping up this whale.swoosh piece, this was an interesting takeaway. The main difference is that airdrop farmers, unlike market makers, do not have the goal of making profits from their trade. So market makers are a necessary part of trading as it stands today. They provide the liquidity for people to get in and get out. So it's not me trading what's AMC to Gifted when I'm trading a stock. It's me trading against a market maker, basically, who is taking a small arbitrage there to provide that liquidity. So and they can obviously big brain their way to getting a little bit more on the sell, for example. So they're essentially taking that arbitrage. What the difference is airdrop farmers do not have that incentive. Their incentive is to not make a arbitrage on the trade itself, but to make an arbitrage on the actual tokens that are being farmed. So that's a really good point. He also talked about royalties as well going to zero. Again, we've touched on that a bunch. So yeah, I mean, this is NAKAMIGOS is going to bring us back to this combo, but I thought that was a really good thread.
It was a great thread, and that point right there is basically articulating what I've been, again, sometimes I'm not especially articulate and I just like see things and I try and explain them, but I'm not like, I'm just going stream of consciousness. But that's basically a better articulation of what I've been trying to talk about the backwards incentives and how I see them as potentially very damaging. And this is what Andy James referred to as a negative feedback loop. And that's specifically that these incentives, the way that it's structured right now, it is basically incentivizing things to run to zero. And like people are literally being incentivized to an extent to lose money. And so it's like, how do you support a project and a floor when the people that are buying it up and buying and selling it don't give a fuck about even the floor holding? Like it's crazy. But that's what's been going on this whole fucking time. That's what we've been seeing. And so anyway, that's a good way of pointing it out, is that look, airdrop farmers just don't operate the same as normal market makers because of the airdrop incentive and what that's doing right now. They don't even give a shit about like trying to make money on their trades, really. That's not how markets are supposed to work here. That's the thing, Q. Like, like you as a person, it's interesting where you sit on this. And maybe you can talk about this a little bit more. But what's interesting to me about you, Q, is that if you're like a sort of proponent of the market, you know what I mean? You're kind of like market capitalist, like you're kind of on that side. Like, whereas I come more from the art and creative side of things into it, you're kind of coming more from the like trader market side of things. And so you have a little bit more of that perspective. That's why we work well too, because we can balance these different ideas and try and come to understandings and all that shit. But for you, if you're someone who is like, yeah, the market is where it's at, like I'm for the market and all that stuff, this is basically like breaking the market and like how any market is supposed to work. You know what I mean? It's like these incentives are creating behaviors that are outside of how any normal rational market is supposed to work, which is where you are trying to buy something that appreciates in value, not buy something and then purposefully dump it and reduce your own value in that thing that you're buying because of some third party weird magic expected thing that might happen. So it's like, that's what I think is interesting for you, because it's like, I would think if you were sort of a staunch capitalist, you would be like, this doesn't even make sense from a market perspective to be creating these types of behaviors.
I think the idea is that in a free market system, there are going to be people that take advantage of inefficiencies. Like that's what a market maker and arbitrager does, right? Like that they take advantage of an inefficiency. They say, I can buy, Silk Road example. all the way back in the day, I can buy this silk in China, then sell it in Rome for X multiples. Like that's an inefficiency. It shouldn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
it should. Yeah, exactly. That is literally the definition or an analogy of arbitrage. So what Blur is doing is seeing an inefficiency and attacking it. The hope is that the market corrects itself as opposed to imposing regulation and imposing some type of rule set. It's basically going to be like, can they do this forever? If they can do this forever, then, which I don't agree with, if I had to guess that there's going to be some type of competition that springs up in its place that is going to take market share from Blur, so I don't think the idea is that I think it's negative or positive. It's that there is a market efficiency that eventually works itself back out, so while Blur has this advantage now because they're targeting that, something else will spring up in its place and say, hey, Blur is doing this incorrectly, or the narrative shift will change and all of this stuff will work itself out, as opposed to us saying, hey, we need to have a rule set. So I don't know if that necessarily answered your question. My take is literally just that there is an inefficiency in capitalist markets. It's not always going to be the most efficient, most logical. It's going to be whatever is going to take place is going to take place in the wild. Some of that looks like dog shit, and hopefully it works itself out in the long run. So,
yeah. I mean, I get the like market efficiencies and like all that idea. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, though, again, this feels to me like it's kind of a perversion in a way. It's like, and I don't know. So again, it's like I would think if you're some kind of like purist capitalist, that you'd almost be like, this doesn't even make sense. But again, I'm projecting a little bit onto that. But I do think it's an interesting thing, right? Because to me, I feel like what they're doing doesn't really follow anything that you would normally like the behaviors just don't even make sense from a rational capitalist perspective. But anyway, from their position as Blur, it all makes sense because they're getting that VC bag again. But the behaviors that they're creating in the marketplace don't make sense, and they don't give a shit about anybody else. And like what happens in the community. That's the frustrating thing to me as somebody who wants this to be a sustainable, successful, long-term thing.
You're right. And maybe at some point the narrative gets so bad for Blur that there is a popular uprising of like, Machi, stop doing this or we don't fuck with you. What I mean? That's the idea.
That's going to be the interesting follow-up on what you just showed about his tweet. Like how seriously offended and upset is he? Is he just doing this as a psyop? Is he going to keep trading at the level that he's been doing through the end of this? Or is he going to change his behavior? If Machi and some of the other big traders start to turn on Blur, then I think we've got a very different scenario. I don't see that happening right now because there's not a better option for them. You know what I mean? For the big traders to be going. But that would be crazy interesting if like Machi and like a couple of the other big traders basically boycotted Blur. That would really change things around. I just don't know that I see that happening.
Yeah. It definitely gets complex really quick to have that discussion. I would love to talk to a Pac-Man or to somebody even that is like running a different marketplace and how they see it, right? Because of that, they're like, we cover the space in total. We're covering exchanges, we're covering gaming, we're covering art, we're covering all these things, and we get to have broad perspectives and talk to people in each sector, which I think is awesome. But being able to speak to someone that just runs an exchange would be really dope on how they kind of see this aspect of what Blur is doing.
Yeah. So Doge hit the 10-cent mark, bounced off it, and has gone a little bit lower. I'm holding because one of the big mistakes that I made in the past on that last run when it went up to like over 70 cents was I sold out around like somewhere between like 25 to 30 cents. And then literally within under 24 hours, it fucking shot to 70 cents. You know what I mean? So like I've been here before. I feel like I've seen this before. You know what I mean? And I feel like it'll like this run just started like 30, 45 minutes ago.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree
So
with
it's
that.
like, I feel like this run has at least a day or two in it because you've got a whole 24-hour news cycle, global, crypto's global. So I feel like you got to at least give it, right? 24 hours at least.
Are you talking
on
yourself
this.
into it, or are you asking a question?
I'm having fun just like trying to dissect what's going on right now in real time. Because Q, you're the one that caught this. I might just be seeing it now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't even see it till later.
It's gonna be volatile. I'll say it, but I think overall, like, you do see these like severe pullbacks where people are like, "Oh no," and then they try to get out, and it like ends up being not good. If you're looking at it in like a 15-minute time span, just because it goes down in those 5 minutes, like yeah, agreed. I think
what do you think it runs to though in the next 48 hours? What do you think that the top that Doge gets to is?
15 cents.
NFA, we're just
full NFA.
We're just saying dumb shit. So you think 15 cents?
Yeah. And look, if it's a long, it feels like there's a longer term fundamental here. Like that is the first time Doge has ever taken that big a step besides Elon saying something. Like, it feels like a long term fundamental. That was my first thing was, oh, does this mean crypto payments on Twitter? Does this mean Doge payments on Twitter? So
yeah. And part of the fun of this is going to be like, how long do they string out the speculation on it before they announce anything?
Yeah.
And does it help? Does it help or hurt that they just keep it open-ended? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, I don't know if restring. Give me just a second, real quick. Sometimes I have some. No, I think we're good. Okay. Quantum Variant saying it's trending now on Twitter. So it's just trending on Twitter now, which is a good spot to be in.
Smash the fucking likes. We're ahead of the fucking trends. You want to be fucking trending? What if you could be fucking NFT living? I'm just saying.
We're on the Oregon Trail right now, dude. We are on the fringes of this shit. We saw it and we made the move.
This is just the exciting thing. Like, we're just getting going, bro. Like, just imagine when a fucking bull market starts to heat up and there's like actual crazy shit happening every day that we're covering here live. Yeah. Smash the like. Be part of this community. Come be a contributor. Come make shows with us. Be part of this shit. It's going to be fucking fun.
So Sarah's saying, I don't think Elon cares about the people enough for it to be actually relevant to users. He's just a troll. I kind of agree with this, and I'll take it one step further. Yeah. His implementation of a Doge is like a huge fuck you to not and a troll towards the regulators, towards people that he wants to use Twitter to not attack, but kind of troll. So I think he could use Doge in that way where he's like, I'm going to implement this. Like, we're going to implement this as a payment. Like, I didn't launch the currency, or I say currency, but I didn't launch the asset. So I can't be liable in that sense. But then you start getting into money transmitter laws and things like that. It's interesting. But, okay, we will monitor Doge price throughout.
Quantum Variant's betting big, though. He says
trolls make money.
Set a sell order for half at 20 cents. So he thinks it's going above 20 cents at least.
Okay, we are at an hour and 17 minutes, and we haven't even hit the NFTGo Bag Check. So Jared is going to be happy with us about from NFTGo standpoint. So we're going to do that in just a second. Uniswap volume beats Coinbase and registers its best months in 2022. This is wild. Spot market volume on Uniswap was above 70 billion for the first time since January 2022. Coinbase volume was 50 billion last month and up from 40 billion in February. So good. That's good news for Coinbase. We're seeing a little bit more volume on their side, but also Uniswap for the first time in its history outpacing Coinbase on spot volume is pretty cool. I thought that was a relatively cool headline. And then NFT market sees a 31% drop in sales in March. We are able to see this stuff even before these articles come out, right? We've been covering NFTGo in the activity, and we're able to see volumes with that huge spike in January and late January, and then maybe a dip here in February and March. So that's what we were able to see. But yeah, that's just the NFT evening covering it, saying there were a 30% drop in sales over the past month. So cool stuff. I mean, that's That's something we've been covering on the front lines. Let's get in the NFTGo Bag Check. I've got it here in a second. Gift, you got anything before we jump in heavy to NFTGo? Are you muted?
I'm just loving the combo over here in the chat. Y'all are killing it. And other than that, just excited to keep it going with the NFTGo Bag Check.
See, that's how it's done, folks. All right, market overview, aka the NFTGo Bag Check, market sentiment. Ooh, that's a pop. We were sitting at 24 on the market sentiment cool factor here. 33 30-day profits and losses still in losses. Blue chip index is down heavy over the last day. This is the last 7 days against ETH and the last 7 days against USD. So I always like doing this because like we can like we're so again like tied into the ecosystem that like what happened here? What was the sell-off here in USD value on the blue chip index? What fell off the map? It would help to know what the blue chips are. That would be ideal.
I mean, Doodles has continued to be fucking
wrecked,
beat down, bro.
Yeah. So maybe it's Doodles against ETH. Obviously, if ETH pumps, that's going to continuously fall. So we're sitting there on the 30-day as well as up in USD over the last 7 days here. So market cap and volume against ETH, it's shooting up. I think this NAKAMIGOS is going to be that volume spike you see there. Last 7 days as well, you see another spike there in market cap and volume. Holders and traders, you already know what's going to happen when we go to collections. Over the last 24 hours, NAKAMIGOS is second only to Wrapped CryptoPunks. And Wrapped CryptoPunks takes up a primarily good amount of volume because of how valuable the assets are, right? Those are going to be like 60 ETH, 70 ETH assets that are being traded on Blur. So really NAKAMIGOS is the number one, in my opinion, from like a quote-unquote organic volume standpoint. Mutant Apes, Other Deeds, DOGE. First appearance for the DOGE here on NFTGo since they are now on ETH. That's pretty fucking cool. Pudgy Penguins, Azuki, the Captains, Bored Apes, and Doodles rounding out the top 10 over the last 24 hours. And in the last 7 days, you can see Wrapped CryptoPunks number 1. Other Deeds taking in number 2, NAKAMIGOS, Bored Ape Yacht Club, Heavy Metals, and Clone X, it looks like, as rounding out or entering that top 10. So any surprises here, Gif, or any thoughts on either the 24 or the last 7 days?
I mean, looking at NAKAMIGOS right under Wrapped CryptoPunks is interesting to me because I was talking about, I have this weird theory about NAKAMIGOS being like the community's decided CryptoPunks 2.0. This is not based on anything other than my own weird gut. I like, we have to say this a million times, but I just have this feeling, man, because there is this desire to participate. Just like, you know how everybody still to this day is like, oh, we're the Bored Apes of Solana. Oh, we're the next Bored Apes. Like everybody that didn't get into Bored Apes wants to be in on the next Bored Apes. Then there's just that thing, that desire to be part of a cool community and feel like you're part of that bigger experience. The cred of it, the value that's derived from a community that takes off like that. CryptoPunks has that same thing where it's like, this is the OG. This is like the blue chip. And so there's absolutely, you know, like Avagachi is the CryptoPunks of Polygon. You know what I mean? Like there's the expansion punks that I bought into specifically for no other reason other than the concept of like CryptoPunk 2.0.
Yeah.
It's like literally just like,
that's
I'm not a CryptoPunk yet. I want to be one day, but I would love to be like part of the expansion of CryptoPunks or like the next version of what becomes sort of like a CryptoPunk. And so I don't know, man. I'm just saying that I see the way that this got traction. The art is pixel art. It's kind of like updated pixel art. It's not as rudimentary or basic as CryptoPunks. It's kind of like it's like more modern for this moment pixel art. It's just got a few more bells and whistles. It's a little bit more sophisticated. It's got some extra shading on the jacket or like whatever the fuck you think. But to me, it feels like an updated pixel art, simple, clean PFP. And it's a little bit bigger. So it's 20K. Well, it's double the size. So a little bit bigger. It's double the size of the 10K original CryptoPunks. There's so much equity in what they've built. If somebody can capture that narrative of sort of like, this is the next pixel art PFP, you know what I mean? This is the one that is the expansion to that origin story of the CryptoPunks. I think there's fucking value to be had in that narrative at least. And again, this is not based on anything other than my fucking gut. But the way that it's picked up and the other interesting thing contextually to throw into this is the moment that we're in, which again, this is the first ever NFT bear market, the first ever NFT winter, not necessarily NFT bear market. This is the first ever NFT winter. Let me be clear. Like the first hardcore NFT winter that we're going through. We are like deep into the first NFT winter. So the people that are here right now are the fucking degens. Like these are the people that are fucking still gambling on JPEGs. It is a hardcore fucking, like, these are the motherfuckers. Like these are the people, you know what I mean? These are the people that fucking make this space. These are the people that are still here when everybody else left, when the tourists were gone. Who were the fucking cockroaches that stayed around and fucking like feasted on the bones of what was left and like and survived and like hardened themselves and built out the next fucking generation of wealth to come? Like however romantic, you want to paint that story. The point is, it's also contextually interesting of like, who are the people that are getting in on this specific project right now? You know what I mean? So does that matter long term? Does any of it matter long term? I don't know. But I'm actually at least interested in NAKAMIGOS at this point. It's way too early to be swearing so much. It's too early for me to be making these types of bold proclamations about NAKAMIGOS. I'll say that much.
It was way too early an hour ago. I'll say that, and we were swearing an hour ago. So so we're going to touch on NAKAMIGOS here in a second, because obviously they're taking up a primarily like big spot in our show today, as well as just the general space. I do have to wrap up the marketplace overview real quick. So this is with the wash trading filter on last 7 days. This is really cool. Like, we've been covering this, but I feel like not enough people are talking about this. Blur is taking up a huge amount of the narrative. Like, this is the next marketplace. I do like the competition. That's like half the reason I think people are okay with Blur kind of coming in, was how bad OpenSea fucked up. Like, OpenSea has fucked up on multiple occasions, leading to the rise of Blur and people's okayness and legitimateness of like saying, hey, I can go over and trade on Blur. That's fine. OpenSea doesn't really care about us anyways. So the trading sizes, of course, are huge on Blur. It's like 2/3 more than OpenSea, but OpenSea still has the traders and the buyers. So always keep that in that equation as well. If you put the Blur and the Blur aggregator together, you're probably only getting to about half of what OpenSea has when it comes to traders, aka buyers and sellers. So really keep that in your back pocket when people are talking about Blur the way they are. They're like, OpenSea's dead, all this stuff. Well, it's not. You just have a small amount of people trading a metric fuck ton on Blur. So that's where I will say, like, it's going to be a healthy competition. If not OpenSea having the advantage once the bear comes or the bull comes back, because of the amount of traders and buyers and sellers that they want. Christian C, Naka going to 16K ETH trading volume. Asmodai saying, anyone traded NFTs on Kraken? I definitely have not. Discord Junkie saying, put your legs in the air, my fellow roaches. And the only driver is speculation and timing in the market. This opposes what drives this space, sadly. I agree.
Yeah, great points. Also, just to follow up on the Doge front, Squashman, great comments here. We're always super early in terms of the news because we're glued to this shit glued to this shit. Yes, we are. A lot of people at work who cannot access their shit until they get home tonight. Probably good 16 to 24 hours. Degen's made this first pump.
Yeah. And you know you're
that's pretty
degenning when you're
accurate.
on the minute chart, by the way.
You know what? It just feels good again to be fucking degenning, flipping dog coins and crypto trading shit coins. You know what?
Okay.
It just feels good, bro.
I feel it. Okay. Hey, we are squarely like almost near the end of the episode. So I don't know what the hell I was getting at there, but we are in the large topic of the day, our most important topic, which is again NAKAMIGOS, and GIF, kind of laid it out there pretty well. We have some stories to cover as well. One being that Beeple put out this tweet this morning. So how about if you crazy mofos get this to a 1 ETH floor, I will do a chapter 2 of the NAKAMIGOS saga. P.S. I own 0, just a dude sitting in the bleachers drawing pics. This obviously sent NAKAMIGOS, skyrocketing. So early investors in that project were able to maybe cash out, maybe hold on for dear life and try to get it to 1 ETH, but it never touched 1 ETH, by the way.
It didn't. It actually has gone back down a little bit. It got up over 0.8, didn't hit 1 ETH. It's back down closer to 0.6 right now. So people did not have, not yet has he gotten it to 1 ETH. But, if we take his tweet at face value, then it's what I was saying, which is that Beeple is literally just a newsjacker. He's built an entire
just because it wasn't successful.
Very success. No, but he's been very successful in his career.
Yeah,
being a newsjacker, which is basically commenting and creating art around whatever is popping off in pop culture, and recently NFTs as well over the last couple of years. So either that's all he's doing. He's literally just riding the wave. He sees NAKAMIGOS in his timeline and he's like, fuck it, I'm going to create some art and see if I can, contribute and be part of this narrative. Because, dude, this is how he fucking stays relevant. This is what he's good at. This is what smart artists do throughout history. They find ways to reinvent themselves and stay on top of whatever's fucking trending, right? So, like, either he's just doing that, or what you were speculating, Q, was that is he somehow tied to this? And we all know there's a bunch of shady, shitty backdoor dealings that are not transparent in the space. Is Beeple somehow affiliated?
Yeah. Look, that was the question we had earlier. We obviously touched on NAKAMIGOS on the Twitter Spaces this morning. So two things happen that together make my red flag signal just go off the hilter. Like I'm pressing the button to rain down water on this fire that I see that could potentially happen. And that's that when NAKAMIGOS first launched, everyone's like, what's happening here? What is NAKAMIGOS? Why is this so high? Why is this trending? And that by itself is a red flag or a yellow flag. Like sometimes that does happen. Like just speculation. Chungos is a great example, probably. Like Chungos was trending. Like they did extremely well for the size of the project.
That was totally organic for sure. Chungos, I can tell. Like you met Chief Chungo.
Yes,
there is no VCs behind that.
Yes, I agree. Which is why I said that sometimes does happen. That paired with people coming out and saying, "Hey, I'm not affiliated with this project, or I'm not a collector, but if you guys get this over 1 ETH, I could potentially do a second series." Those two things together make my conspiracy theory hat a little bit bigger when it comes to this project. Because you have to know, like, I think a lot of times in this space, we think that things just randomly happen. Like, oh my God, this big news piece just hit on this project, and then all this organic volume. It's like, there's people pulling the strings behind a lot of this stuff. And
well, a lot of people specifically try and paint that narrative. The organic, it's all community. Yes. It's all organic. Whoa, look what's going on. Did you see this thing? It's just happened. Like
it's so it would be so easy for people to even like, and I'm not saying he's doing this, okay? I think overall, again, I've never met the guy. Like he's obviously like keeps to himself a bunch at this point after that $60 million sale or whatever it was. But how
69 million.
Yeah, totally.
How can you forget that, Q? It's like literally the best number to remember. It's easy. 69 mil.
Beeple doesn't need the money to pump his bags, but his network. This is the part that you're missing. It's not for just Beeple. It's the people that Beeple knows. It's the network. It's continuing the cabal. You think the cabal that controls this country needs more money? Like, I don't mean to be making that large of a drum, but the people that control the narratives, they don't need any more money.
It's
but they do it
people.
anyways.
The Beeple people.
Like,
yeah.
Okay, so again, went super far on the conspiracy route, but my thought here is there is people that are in the know that are behind this NAKAMIGOS project. There's so many red flags here. I'm happy for anybody that's flipping these. Honestly, if you're flipping these, more power to you. You know what I mean? Like, do it. But there's a lot of red flags here that paint themselves, and if they put themselves together, equal something where I'm like, that is not the most organic that I've ever seen. Chungos is a fucking great example of a super organic project that I know from my own anecdotal experience that is legit and organic. I can't say the same here for NAKAMIGOS. And it's not just because I haven't met the founders, but go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I 1,000% agree. It's not necessarily Beeple, it's the Beeple people. And also, like, that's why I love Chungos. And I will never have any qualms about supporting that project, because I feel at least pretty confident in what I know. And that's that it is just an artist creating a fun thing, doing his best. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. And the fact that it's like, that's a story that I will always get behind. And I feel, again, pretty confident there's not a bunch of weird, shady characters making a bunch of money behind the scenes that are pulling those strings. That's literally a big reason why I fucking love that project and projects like that. It's just supporting the community, man. And there's not a bunch of other weird shit going on other than trying to create a cool experience. Yeah, with something like this, you really don't know. That's the problem. It's just you don't know.
And to your point, Giff, like, he is coming out and saying, like, now he's like, he's not backtracking, but he's having to defend himself. He's literally like, look, JFC, like, just to be even more clear, I don't even know anyone who owns these, so I'm not trying to pump my friends' bags either. So he's directly refuting stuff that's something I would say. Here's the other thing, dude. Why I think, and I just read this and I completely just forgot about it, but one of the reasons why I look at NAKAMIGOS with a side eye, do you remember the fucking rumor that came out right when it launched?
Yeah, it's Larva Labs. Ugh, whisper, I think. Like, maybe.
It's just like, let's check off all the checklist points to make a project potentially successful in the NFT space. You know what I mean? It's like, So that got me off on the wrong foot with NAKAMIGOS. I'm probably biased because
I agree. So that definitely turned me off at first, because it literally, to your point, it feels like they're pulling a very specific emotional lever. They're literally pulling a string. Here's all the different strings to get our puppets to dance the way that we want.
Art gobblers.
Start a rumor that this was Larva Labs and just let that spin up on fucking Twitter for a while. Yeah.
Gitcoin presents.
Yo, Pranksy did buy a Chungo last week.
What?
Welcome.
I'm finding it.
Welcome to the Chungolution, Pranksy. Welcome to the Chungle.
Okay, so with your Doge profits, are you buying a NAKAMIGOS gift, Ed?
Yes, absolutely. No, I don't know what my Doge profits will be yet. Talk to me in 24 hours. I am interested in potentially acquiring a NAKAMIGOS at a reasonable price. I don't like the price it's at right now, frankly. I was okay. My bet. So here, let's do our bets. Let's do our like one week bet, right? This is a fun thing that we do, Q.
We have to be held accountable for this, though.
There's no holding. Yeah, we hold each other accountable, but beyond that, this is not financial advice. So other than that, like, there's no accountability beyond us just speculating and, like, you know, gentlemen's betting who's going to be right. My bet was that NAKAMIGOS go up and hit just shy of 1.5 ETH. I do think that they crossed the 1 ETH floor. I don't think that they really get far past 1.5. I think they kind of hit like 1.3, maybe 1.4 range really before they start to turn around. And then I think that we'll see a correction from there back closer to half an ETH. So this could play out over a week, could play out over 2 weeks. I don't know, but I'm saying that's my 1 week bet right now is that it crosses 1 ETH, doesn't get to really doesn't really get to 1.5, maybe gets to 1.5 ish. And that's kind of the ceiling before it retraces back down to like 0.6.
Yeah, I think if the Beeple announcement, I think should have pushed it a little bit higher than it did. Obviously, like it probably doubled. Don't get me wrong. Like I think it was at what on April 2nd, it was at 0.4. It's sitting at 0.739 earlier today. Now it's sitting at 0.668. I think if the Beeple thing can't get it done, then I don't think it really has legs. I don't even know if it'll cross an ETH. So I think if anything, it goes to like 0.25 by this time next week. 0.25, 0.3 next week.
Wow, 0.25 by this time next week. So then at that price queue, are you going to get a NAKAMIGO?
No, because I don't agree with. Again, there's some principles that we come in here, and I don't need to flip a NAKAMIGO. If I wanted to, maybe that's a good price to like get in. Not financial advice, but like I'm not gonna buy one because I don't personally care, So
Yo, respect for this man, a man of principles. He knows what he's into. He knows what he's not into. Says he's not going to get a NAKAMIGO. We'll see a month from now how he's feeling. But all right, I appreciate that. You sticking by your guns,
dude.
Q.
Hot take. I don't really like Beeple. For the reason why, for one of the reasons being what we just brought up. Like it's just like, dude, like it's so kind of weird. And I know that he wants to be in the news. I get it. Like that's his thing is the dailies and all that stuff. But like I think he represents some of the cabalism that we talk about here when he's getting his stuff bought up by one of the like it wasn't some like random collector that bought this 69 ETH. It was like the same kind of vibe as like Pack getting like his stuff bought up for huge amounts and all of this stuff to drive interest in the NFT space. Like that's not what I'm here for. And I know that there's that community that I mean that we probably have to thank for how large the NFT bubble got. That drove a lot of interest. Is these huge fucking sales, but it's just not me. So
I get it. He definitely crosses into that sort of clout chasing starfucker world more than I'm really comfortable with. Like seeing, him live stream, like the awkward live stream of him and like Farouk at his gallery opening was kind of like, yeah, it's like that sort of that crew. So I get it. That's not really my scene either. But like I think as far as like him pioneering for digital art and actually showing that like digital artists can make it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. He's done a lot for art so that's the thing where it's like, whether or not you agree with his politics or the fact that he's kind of like a little bit of a clout chaser or he's into the trendy shit, he's actually had a remarkably profound impact on digital art. And the amount that he's inspired and affected the lives of many digital artists, I think it's hard to even see, but like, it's going to be one of those things that we look back on decades from now and he's going to be like a big deal, like a really big deal, because like you see so many different artists that are all doing dailies or doing a song a day. So many different digital creators have been literally inspired by what he's done with his dailies. And then again, just helping to establish digital art as a real respected practice, something that you can collect for $69 million. Nobody else did that. He did that. So I got to have respect for him no matter what on that level and what he's meant to the art movement, especially digital creators and digital art. Yeah. The like trendy cloud chasing shit is, it's not really for me either.
I agree with you completely on the effect he'll have on digital art long term. So seeing his piece in Sotheby's was fucking sick. Like literally, like me and Easy were standing right next to each other, and we were like looking. I think it might have been Christie's actually, but we were like just admiring. And it was that original piece. It was the guy walking, that was like circulating basically. Like it was like. a 3D, and it was like an astronaut that was like walking. It was really fucking cool.
It's like evolving or something. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it like changed based on, I don't know, a couple different features. It's been a while. It's been a year and a half since NFT NYC. The
I
one I went
vaguely
to.
remember which piece you're talking about, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna hop off here. It's been an hour 45, so we're gonna make it a short episode for Jacob here, to get after here on the editing side. But
You're welcome, Jacob.
you guys have been awesome. Discord Junkie is saying Nakamigos has a Ranga vibe to it. Christian is saying it. Nakamigos did touch 0.9, then back to 0.6. And Prodigy is saying, "Yo, I got a fun one for y'all. Who in the space would you ute on the Mount Rushmore, or put on the Mount Rushmore of Web3? Name 4." That's a pretty good one. We could end with that. We do have a couple other things that I wanted to get to, including DOGE moving to Ethereum, and the recap from that. As you guys can see, there's like some pieces that are really cool to look at. Meaning, like notably, the Solana pieces are going for more. Solana assets are going for more at the current rate, according to NFT statistics.
Yeah, but you're making
mush.
less money if you're getting 33% taken off.
So let's cover DeGods and Utes tomorrow for sure. With Jessica Yatrovsky, I totally fucked up today. We were supposed to have Jessica Yatrovsky on the Monday episode of NFT Live. I completely forgot, put out the tweet, and just she hit me up. She was like, "All right, I'm just getting ready for NFT Live." I was like, "Shit, I forgot." And she said, "Totally, tomorrow makes sense." So tomorrow we will have Jessica Yatrovsky on. Ronan will be on Wednesday as well. Gifted is current. Do you wanna dox?
I will not be here Wednesday. I'll be traveling to Toronto, but don't worry, I'm taking my gear. We'll be live streaming from Toronto for a week or two, having a good time up in the Great White North. But I'll be on your side of the country. It'll get extra weird. I'll be over there. So,
Welcome.
our time zones will actually be aligned.
Cool. Okay. So that is going to be a fun trip. I'm interested. Make sure you take all the photos. Just make sure your shirt's on for those, and we can check it out.
No promises.
Okay. So I love this question, because usually up here we're talking about the projects, right? We're talking about the brands, that IP, not necessarily the people. So Prodigy's got a really cool question. Who would be on the Mount Rushmore of Web3? And in Web3 is an inch. Like, do we want to go NFTs here or Web3? Because Web3 entails a lot of people.
That's true. We should. It's probably easier to try and do
NFTs.
Do an NFTs. This is actually a fun visual. Like it would be fun for us to make a Mount Rushmore visual with the faces missing that you can just drag somebody's PFP onto. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like our rate my bag segment. We'll have our Mount Rushmore, and like maybe we can add multiple maybe it's more than 4 faces. Maybe we got 6 or 7. You know what I mean? Maybe like if somebody does something crazy, we actually add a face to the NFT Mount Rushmore.
So I've got one right off the bat because I'm a total simp, right? I have to, but I'm going to put them together. I'm going to say Gordon and Garga are together as one face on this Mount Rushmore.
Gargon? Yeah.
What?
Gorga?
Yeah, Gorga.
We'll put them together.
So those two would be like they would share one area, like you would see. So I'll put them up there, the founders of Yuga Labs. Who else, Gifted? We got 3 more spaces.
I mean, as much as I don't like it, I feel like Frank DeGods has established himself as such a fucking giant person.
Wow.
Dude, how can you deny first of all how successful he's been at marketing, but that he's built a fucking cult? I mean, he's now sitting on top of one of the biggest ETH ecosystems, and he did it through Solana. He did it in a way nobody else has fucking done it. So look, I am not trust me, I'm not a simp. If y'all have watched my trajectory on Frank DeGods and the DeGods, you've seen me go from pretty much fudding it to thinking it's fucking nonsense to really disliking a lot of the tactics that they've used. So to just, actually being like, if it's fucking working for him, I mean, shit.
Historically, I think is the only thing the provenance is what he's missing. He hasn't been around.
It's not there
enough,
yet.
But he's getting there.
But he's getting there. Yeah. And you know, we have to say congrats, if we're being honest, on this transition has been a major coup. It seems like it's been hugely successful. And the fact that the Solana ones are trading for higher prices still.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, everything that sort of needs to go well for you to look at this like as it's working, it's fucking working for him. So yeah, I agree. The provenance is not necessarily there right now. But again, you know, a year or two out from now, that might look very different. I think Beeple deserves to be there because what Beeple did for the NFT space again was so big. Like that sale was so big.
It really was.
And it wasn't just like PFPs. It wasn't just like art. It was like music NFTs. The whole NFT space like changed when that fucking happened, when that sale happened.
Vitalik is an interesting one. Oh, Gary V. I would put Gary before Vitalik because I don't think
Vitalik's Web3.
Yeah.
Yeah, more Web3 crypto. For NFTs, I think Gary V could go there.
He could. Again, this is only 4 spots, so I'm being very.
No, we can have as
here.
many spots as we want. It's our Mount Rushmore.
But that's the low supply makes it exclusive. You see what I mean? So
yeah, but dude, 5 or 6 people is still exclusive.
Okay, okay, yeah. I agree.
I'm just saying because you know what you're doing here, Q. You know what you're doing. You're saying, well, we have to make our metaverse have cars and highways.
No, he literally said Mount Rushmore. Like, is there 4 faces on Mount Rushmore? We're using that.
The point is, it's an analogy, and we're creating our own new thing. Let's update it. Let's make it our own. Let's make it for NFTs. Let's make it for the metaverse.
So, Hash Rhyme's coming through with a really good one, and I just didn't know how to put their face up here, but Dapper Labs. The people that created the 721 with CryptoKitties probably deserve to be up here, but there's just no big fit. Like Hash Rhymes is mentioning, she's mentioning Dieter Shirley. I don't know what that person looks like. I mean, if you do a quick Google search, I'm sure you could find it. But dude, Dapper deserves to be up there, but I just don't know. Like, it would have to be Roham, which he's gone through some shit with NBA Top Shot now.
Yeah, I mean, Dapper, if there's one person that really made a dent that like, but it's I don't think we should be thinking about like a company.
That's the thing. I wanted to throw up a crypto kitty, but I can't.
No, not Farouk, definitely not. But it's somebody that I would want to see on there, but I think I don't know if they had as big of an impact as somebody like a Beeple or something like that, but was very influential very early on in NFTs. It was Blau.
Blau was pretty big.
Super influential early on.
Mm-hmm. Again, I think he could make like an 8 Pantheon. You know what I mean? I don't think he makes the 4. I don't think he makes the 4.
Kaz Vegas, I co-sign. I think Betty would be great. We do need some female representation for sure.
Yeah.
And I think Betty and Cass.
Josie, I would get
Cass.
behind. Yeah. I think Josie Bellini, definitely. Dieter is the CTO of Dapper Labs. That's why I was trying to make the connection to Dapper.
But like Dieter Shirley, like I don't even know that name though. Like it's hard for me to want to vote for a specific person to make it in that top 4 or 5 if I've never even heard their name. You know what I mean? Like
that's why I wanted to figure out how to put CryptoKitties or Dapper up here, but I can't unless you want to put Roham up here because he's more well known. You know, Dapper, when Dapper blew up, it was NBA Top Shot. Like, obviously, they broke the shit out of, but I don't even know if Roham, I'm pretty sure Roham was around when CryptoKitties launched, but yeah.
The Nifty Gateway Twins.
They were big.
Yeah. The Winklevi.
Absolutely not. Okay, we're getting caught up here. It feels like we need to kind of think about this. I mean, I think we have Gordon and Garga. Would you agree? Like if they were on one, like the CEOs.
I think so.
Co-founders.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough to choose like one of them, right?
Yeah.
Kind of got to put them together. Yeah.
So I think
But
Frank
those
the
are
Gods is a
those are
little
actually
early.
well-known people, leaders. Like, you know their names, you know what I mean? Like, and their impact has been massive.
I think not many people and more people should know about Yatsu. Like, more people should, like, the amount they funded the NFT space
Is he more Web3 or is he NFT?
He's
Like, you
NFTs.
think
He's
NFT?
NFTs.
Okay. I mean, I know he is, but I just mean, like, is he more,
Yeah.
here than here?
Animoca made themselves known with NFTs, right? Animoca was
so maybe Yatsu.
I don't think again. I'm a big proponent of his, obviously, but I don't know if he's known well enough in the broad space. Maybe, but Josie, yeah. All right. I like the convo. I feel like it's tough to narrow down to 4. That's the problem we're having. And Prodigy was saying, like, I would like you guys to narrow it down. That's kind of the fun of it. I don't think we're gonna get to 4 here today on the episode. I thought we had some good comments here come through, but I don't know if we're gonna get to 4.
Yeah, and also the
Gutter Dan,
downside.
it could have been you. It could have been you, Gutter Dan.
Could have been you, man. I think, the other downside of doing something like this, where we literally create a pedestal for these people, is that, a week later, some horrible thing is going to come out, some scam, some rug. Like, we're literally going to jinx all these people that we love.
Damn, Squash got his 8 from Blau. That's an anecdote. Holy shit. That's pretty cool.
That is wild.
Oh,
that's actually really wild.
Hold up. Jimmy? Pranksy? Wow.
Jimmy.eth and Pranksy are 2 big ones.
He Squash said Blau's on his Mount Rushmore. I think Josie's that's a tough part. It's like, who's the queen of NFTs?
The thing is with Pranksy, like, nobody knows his face, so you can't put it on there anyway. Jimmy, we know.
Yeah. Can we not? We can't put a non-people up on Mount Rushmore?
No, fuck that.
Okay. The strict rules. No anons. Fuck that.
You literally can't have the concept of a Mount Rushmore. I mean, unless, again, you're saying we can change
Satoshi
it
on the blockchain Mount Rushmore.
In the metaverse, we can do it maybe with PFPs. But then if we're doing PFPs, we're back to doing the IP. Right now, we're trying to celebrate people behind, like, the people that are actual builders. And, like,
Mount DJ.
You can say anons are builders, but you can't celebrate them as humans the same way.
I see.
You got to come out and dox yourself to be celebrated on the same level as a Beeple or a Blau. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could be doing a bunch of other shit that we don't know about. How am I going to get behind you and literally want to carve your face in the rock in a fucking mountain if I don't even know who you are? I couldn't, because I don't know your face. Mm-hmm. But why would I want to?
Mm-hmm. This is a good combo. This is a great question, Prodigy. I think we'll have to get to it another day. We could get that visual you were talking about, GIF, where we actually have the Mount Rushmore. All right, folks, almost 2 hours. We're going to cut it a little bit close for Jacob here. So it's not a 2-hour episode, Jacob, so I don't want to hear it. But we had a great time with you guys trying to figure out the Mount Rushmore of NFTs. I think that's a great topic. I wish we saved that for a whole nother day, but it was too juicy to jump into.
Dogecoin just crossed 10 cents again. Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Let's go. Whatever the Chungos do.
Chungo.
There we go. All right, we touched on NAKAMIGOS. We had a whole man. I don't know when that day is, but we'll have a conversation up here without Blur here one day. But we touched on Blur again. Some really cool conversations we had. CEO Daniel Allegre starting his CEO duties at Yuga Labs today. Big shout out to a fellow ape there. We appreciate it. Love the journey that the other side is taking us on right now. But you guys have been amazing the whole time through. Again, our vibe, our tribe. We're here tomorrow with Jessica Yatrovsky. Gifted is going to be out on Wednesday, but we will have Ronan the Collector coming in. But GIF, another great episode, man. Love seeing you make some money. First of all, Steve Aoki, get out of here, Squash. God,
I didn't even want to say it. I thought about saying it as a troll, as a joke, and I couldn't even bring myself to say it. Squash Man, how could you?
God,
How could you?
Such good vibes until then. All right, Gift, take us out, dude.
Look, fam, we appreciate every single one of y'all hanging out with us in the chat, keeping this chat absolutely lit. This is the most lit chat in all of Web3, thanks to you. Seriously. Like, we say this shit because we mean it, and we also say this shit because we mean it. None of this is financial advice. We're not financial advisors. Smash the like if you got some Dogecoin in your wallet. We're going to the fucking moon again, boys. Papa Elon's fucking fueling us up. All right, for real. For real, not financial advice, but we appreciate y'all. Our vibe, our tribe. We will be back tomorrow with Jay Yacht. Cannot wait. And big love to you, sir, Mr. Nifty Q. Smash the like for him. Look at this guy.
Peace.